Many people in politics are focused on the winning, they're focused on the campaigning, and some who aren't into frontline politics are focused on getting that coveted political appointment. But how many people, like you, the newer aspiring politician, thinks to focus on safeguarding themselves from some of the same common pitfalls that new and seasoned politicians alike have fallen into time and time again? Let's discuss that over the next 5 weeks as we look at the top 5 political leadership pitfalls. These are the pitfalls that I have noticed globally. So most likely, they'll be applying to you. I'm Dr. Lisa Ann Chung, a political leadership strategist, author of the book Political Change, and president for Kenley College, where we provide leadership training and strategy for new and aspiring politicians. Because many politicians and aspiring political leaders alike don't really think about these pitfalls, we thought it was time we revisited an interview between myself and my mentor, Trista Sue Craig, who is the founder for Agents for Change International, based in the US. It is a leadership development organization there. I'll share the excerpts from that interview, and you don't want to miss any of these weeks because you get the benefit of my insights. My mentor gets to share some of her insights, but there's an added bonus there because her mentor, Dr. Miles Monroe, also shared some timeless lessons and timeless principles with her, and some of them she'll be sharing during the course of this interview. Why is this series so significant for us to revisit at this time? Well, you ever been driving on a road and you dip into a pothole and you think, oh my goodness, the car is just gone, and you feel it everywhere? But if you know the road well enough, or you know there's a pothole coming up, they need to put that in a GPS. If you know that pothole is coming up, what are you going to do? Of course, you're going to avoid the pothole because you know it's coming. Well, these pitfalls are like those potholes. We're telling you, these are the things that are going to come up to test you. Since you know they're coming up, if you're wise, you'll avoid the pitfalls.
What a season to be in, to actually be able to express your gifting, because I know the demand is probably getting more and more as people are seeing, listen, a business person can become a politician. A veteran can be a politician. So I'm sure you're getting a lot more demand for your courses. And I thought this would be a great time to have a conversation because we are living in such a divisive and politically charged atmosphere this year. And I thought it would be benefit to address what you foresaw as the top 5 shortcomings that you can pinpoint in political leadership that you see happening on a global scale.
Well, definitely the first one I'll start with is a misunderstanding of identity. Anybody who's gone through the self-discovery process would understand how powerful identity is to everything. But why is it so important to politicians? Because sometimes we put politics in a box that says it's too dirty, we don't want to go there. But the reality is politicians are just leaders in a specific sphere. So if you're looking at the first one I'd address is the misunderstanding of identity. They don't understand, not everybody, but there are a lot of them who are struggling with an understanding of who they are as an individual, who they are, their own leadership identity. And once you touch people who are struggling with insecurity issues and they are going into the public domain, then all of those insecurity issues start to whoosh. It just comes up so in your face. You can't miss it. Now, these are people who might have been fine dealing with those insecurity issues and nobody noticed before. But now, especially if you're in frontline politics, it's right there. You can't miss it. So they're struggling with identity of themselves. And then they may be struggling with the identity of other people, because if you do not understand that we are all created with leadership ability, now we choose whether we step into that ability or not, but we're created with it. And then you can look at somebody and think you're either better off or you are worse than them or you're lesser than them. Then how do you lead somebody with that understanding, with that misunderstanding of who you are and who they are? So you're dealing with that going on. And then you also have this whole thing of identity of a nation or a city or a state, wherever you may be leading. And why is that important? Because even in our own makeup, we all have things that are unique to us that makes us distinct. Even though we have the commonality of being leaders, there are different things that make us distinct. And you can look at who you are and what you're supposed to be doing tied into how you were designed. And so I look at even the identity of nations and cities as tied into the design of those things. They weren't designed by chance. They're designed that way because of what they were supposed to be doing in terms of the benefit to the earth. The problem, therefore, comes if you've now got leaders who then themselves don't know who they are, taking their misunderstanding of who they are and imposing that on a nation or a city or a state, and that nation, city, state, whatever it is, whatever level it is, also struggling. They're seeing the repercussions or the impact, but that's a negative impact of the leader's lack of identity or misunderstanding of identity.
Times there's a fine line between confidence and pride or ego. When you have that confidence in who you are, you know why you're here, you know where you're going, you can be down to earth with people because you're not trying to prove yourself.
Exactly.
You get to the point where, I have nothing to prove to myself, to my husband, to anybody else. I'm just me. And I think that is a very valid principle that needs to be addressed. And I'm sure you're addressing it at Kenley College, because it's key and it's foundational, not only to our lives, but to the cities that we govern or that are governed by these politicians and the nations, like you are saying.
How important do you see identity to your own political leadership journey? Share it with me in the comments. Let's have a bit of dialogue, because what you learn benefits us all. Well, that's all for today, folks. I hope that you'll join me next time as we continue this rewind series on the top 5 political leadership pitfalls. Bye for now.